Halfway through the last week here in the LPL, Week 11 has never felt more alive as we return to Shanghai into the Hongqiao Arena, where EDG and Suning will be taking their matchup to the stage. As the audience travels on in, remember both these teams have already secured playoffs, with EDG and Suning actually pretty close in ranking here, looking for the highest seeding available as we get closer looks into EDG's change room and into the looks of Meiko, Scout, iBoy just before. Core members, even Jinoo has joined the team in this split. Core members who have brought them to this stage, and Suning, a team that couldn't even make playoffs with their super team in spring, have secured it early on. And with a quick look at Easyhoon there, who's still part of the team, who's still getting them through to this point. We've got some high expectations of both Suning and EDG alike. Welcome back to the LPL, and welcome Raz as I join you on desk once again. We've got a hot fire day that's fueled up and ready to go.
Yeah, I like the fact that you failed to mention the last two teams that we'll be seeing today that's going to be coming out of Beijing that are also in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's the day of just real playoff expectations here.
That's true. But that's where we go to Beijing later to talk about that. So I'm let off the hook as we go into standings here today. Now, remember.
What's up?
That we've got 4 playoff teams here today, but if we're just talking about playoffs, look at how small that opportunity now is.
Yeah, because if you guys have been, tuning in throughout the week, you've been looking into last week, just changing storylines every time. So last I left you guys, Dominus and Victory 5 are going up against each other to keep in the race. But the hope was that IG would lose both of their sets. They had their first actual 2-0 win in the split, actually. And it went up against LGD for that. So both Dominus and Victory 5 are gone. Leaves the race to now 4 teams.
And we're wondering who's going to secure those final spots. IG still need that last series on the back of them, and JDG fighting their way up.
And just so you guys know, the green coloration is just so you know that Top Esports, RNG, and FPX have locked themselves a top 4 placement in the split. And in the league, I mean, you're in a gauntlet run if you're going into playoffs. And so that means that if you're in 1st and 2nd place, you find yourself in the semifinals automatically. If you are 3rd and 4th place, then you're in the quarterfinals. So you just have that extra best of 5 you don't have to play, which for Biubiu, they have not locked in that just yet. We'll have a conversation later on today for that one alone, but it's a lot on the line today.
That could be absolutely huge. And as you mentioned, RNG, BLG will be coming up later, a matchup that for them means so much, but EDG and Suning, they're still for seeding, means the world to them as well.
Yeah, so Suning is still in contention for top 4.
Yep.
They have to play perfectly. They need to be able to win out their next series. So that's a big challenge for them. But at the end of the day, the expectation is that both of these teams are going to be at least in the 1st round.
Yeah.
And so, it's going to be fun to be able to see what their current play looks like.
Because we've got some good matchups today, but remember, we roll towards that Sunday where our final match of the week of the regular season in 2019 awaits us between Top Esports and FPX.
So not only is that our final match of the week, it's the final set of our final day. So it's real fun, the fact that you get to see both these teams, and in all likelihood, like they wouldn't have been able to actually lock in 1st place until this set, where it not only accounts for, head-to-head, but match points as well. So it's going to be important just to be able to nail that down. Another point as well, we still need to find out who our MVP of the split's going to be.
Sure.
It was going to be between Knight, for me at the very least, it was going to be Knight, Biubiu, and Xiaohu. Last match of the week was Knight going up against Xiaohu and handling that lane matchup very well 2 times in a row. And then this time around, it's basically him going up against the spring MVP. So that's going to be fun to be able to see if Knight could take that down and just nail his spot there.
To be decided in that final matchup on the Sunday. Very last matchup. I'm looking forward to it. So that's our match of the week, but we come back to what 2 great matches are lined up for. EDG and Suning, first of all, here in Shanghai. And EDG, a team that you're like, hang on a minute, you secured playoffs yet again. Welcome back.
Yeah, look, you're happy about that. But if you just saw their last series, you're not happy about the problems that they are currently plaguing them. Because the problem is, they have that coffee crash. Like, their early game is fabulous. What we're seeing from them time and again is the fact that they're able to net themselves leads around their primary carries. iBoy and Scout, you're looking good. Jinoo has a proper side lane push. Mid-game turns around, and you think about the iconic EDG playstyle in mid-game where they're able to really move around the map pretty swiftly and secure leads. This was a game that was all about Scout. This is game 1 versus Top Esports. Just so you know, spoiler alert, this was our longest game of the split. 50 minutes long. And it would surprise you with how clean it looked, especially just around Scout outplaying. And so the issue was, once they had attained this lead, they had made a crucial missed teamfight error around mid lane. Baron buff was picked up by Top Esports. Started to get slowed down. Scaling elements of Top Esports were starting to come through. And this is a consistent story you start to hear a lot more. Not only just from the international play that EDG has, but also in just current play that they're showing us, because there's a lot of new team members coming through in the split. Remember, you already mentioned Jinoo coming in right in the beginning of the split.
You got Jiejie in there as well in the jungler.
Exactly,
right?
So new jungler. But you look towards the primary and older members of the team, like Meiko being that main shot caller, who's probably a little frustrated at the current play right now. And then you look towards what I feel like is the backbone of the team's current success, which is Scout.
Yeah,
Scout,
absolutely.
Based off that play in the series, even though they lost versus Top Esports, they went to Game 3 for a reason. His Akali was masterful. He was an insane member, and the revolution of this player, the fact that in the very beginning of his career in EDG, he had the mechanics, he just needed direction, because a lot of the times later on in the game, he can make crucial errors. Now he's the consistent member, and it's the teammates around him that he needs to kind of herd together. So it's fun being able to see that. I think Scout has consistently shown to us that he is that franchise player for EDG.
Holding EDG at the purpose they are right now, which is going into playoffs and being the strongest member. And especially when you go up against Suning, who have newfound expectations, then you suddenly, okay, we look to Scout in that mid lane matchup being the one who stands above.
Yeah, you expect that. It's fun because the split for the LPL has turned into that mid lane magic. Like, it started out with Victory 5, showing two mid laners and then throwing them in the best matchups possible, regardless of where the solo lane takes them. Now it's Suning that decided that they're going to be using Angel and Maple, two of their mid laners, and just swap them between both lanes, just dependent on the matchup. And Maple has been going to the top lane a little bit more frequently. Seems like he's more willing to play the AD cannons of the world, so that's really fun to watch. I like it simply because all the questions we've had about the top lane situation since Longxing left the team have been, resolved by this.
In a really different way.
Because Biubiu, when he came in, he had some great games. He's still incredibly rough around the edges and inexperienced. And then when Angel came in, it's not as if Angel left the team with like a bad taste in our mouths. We thought that he was really good. It was just an unfortunate situation that Maple came into the team to begin with, because he had everything. He had the branding, he had the skill, he had the veteranship. But now you can have both of these guys on the team at the same time. So, like, that expectation we had of Suning in spring, I'm actually really happy to see that that is continuing forward.
It just surprised the hell out of me, because when you have a super team like that in spring and they don't make playoffs, you then go into summer and you go, well, the roster on paper has weakened with Xiao out of it.
Yeah, that's what all of our hopes were kind of,
right?
We were all pretty sad about that. The fact that, like I said at the beginning of the year, that this was a championship roster when they had Longxing. And it is still a downgrade from that expectation, but it's far better than what they were last split, which was out of playoff contention. They were 9th, 10th place, on the outside looking in. Now they can really work together. Remember bringing in Fluid Wind as the coach?
That's right.
They have a really smart play style that's working alongside their junglers. So I know we'll talk about junglers a little bit more heavily going into the second series of the day, but Weiwei, to me, has turned into a top 5 jungler of this split. Because if we can go straight through, I know I already basically spoiled it with the next series, but go into Meteor, Karsa, XX, and then you go into the, have a Tien, exactly. I would say Tien's our third best, or actually second best to Karsa.
Okay.
And then I would have Weiwei as 5th. It's a crazy discussion, because if you're talking about that 5th place position, a lot of purists would be saying, well, where the hell is Ning, right? Ning easily, because he has had a lot of MVP performances, but the boy's unreliable, right?
But he's had a lot of 16th place performances to go with it, right?
Well, I'm just saying, because like he had some phenomenal games, but he's also just had some really bad games on the other side of that spectrum. I am a person that really hails consistency, and I feel like Weiwei's been that guy, and I think coming into this series, Jiejie has to put in work to dethrone him.
It's incredible, because again, that conversation comes up when you have Xiao in a roster, then you have Hacker in a
Call
roster
him
as well.
Longxing, that's his new name.
Okay, you have Longxing in a roster.
Don't confuse the people out there.
Yeah, sorry to hurt you, Russ, but this There's now a story about Hacker, the Hacker who's come into week 1, never seen again, and you're like, well, Suning, was this the right move? You can say that this was the best move they could make.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was a little worried at the very beginning of the year because Hacker has been somebody that I thought was a great asset to the early game for this team. Has been a top 3 jungler in the previous year, in my opinion. But then, I mean, once again, you bring in Weiwei. They had a lot of faith in their, their substitutions, Weiwei and Biubiu coming into the team, and their B team as well in the LDL, and they were able to make the right acquisitions, bring them onto the main team, coach them well, because I felt like, I'd say the first 5 sets, especially for Weiwei, was a little bit on and off, but then you saw real consistency for the man. So I actually really like how he's playing alongside SwordArt. That's necessary for this team.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if they get their leads and they can protect Smlz, they're in a great spot. Like, their team fight should be consistently strong. And so, for me, I think the only way they go is up, just because I always felt that Smlz was a top 3 AD carry when he's at his peak. Last split was his worst split in his history, his career.
By far, actually, yeah.
This split, he's made that resurgence.
I'm also, on the side of Suning, I'm also tending to look towards the top side here. Now, no, this is not something we discussed. I'm going to throw it out anyway. You can slap it back if you don't like it, or not.
No, just go for it.
In the top side,
what the hell?
Jinoo versus Angel. This is an Aatrox matchup. This is one that I see and I look to and I go, ooh, you guys play a lot of that champion. But I also see this top lane matchup going head-to-head in a very different way. Whether Maple plays it or not, the assumption is that these 2 solo laners are actually paired quite nicely in terms of champion pool and the style that interacts.
Well, my take is, first of all, you kind of alluded to it. We don't know who's going to be playing topside for, the squad over there in Suning, because a lot of the times I feel like they play more counter matchups than they do the meta blind picks like the Aatrox. They'll likely let the Aatrox go to that team, and we'll far more often see the Kennen counter pick into it. Perhaps the Vladimir, because that's been a pick for Angel far more often. So we'll see as we see the current starting lineup for EDG. Jinoo up in the top lane, unsurprisingly. Jiejie being their jungler. Scout in the mid lane, and rounding out the bottom side of the map, it's iBoy and Meiko.
The EDG that you've come to know and love here over summer, and EDG that's already made playoffs. And EDG sitting on 8 wins, so we go into this matchup with questions, right?
What's your question?
I know what you said in rehearsal that we were talking about. Like, today could go either way, right? That's what feels like here for this first series.
Only because of EDG. My complete focus is on that team, but for now we're going to be looking towards the lineup here. Angel up in the top lane, Weiwei in the jungle, Maple rounding out the mid lane, and looking towards the bottom side of the map, it's Smlz and SwordArt.
Followed by Fluid Wiz.
So, have that conversation. If we're just talking about the fact that today for these teams could go either way, I think Suning is an incredibly consistent team. My issue is more so with EDG. EDG as a squad, they look great, as we said, coming into today. Their early games are pretty strong, but the problem is more so in their direction from mid-game onwards. A lot of the times, their vision control happens, without really proper communication with their top lane or with their jungle as well. I think Jiejie is... We already knew and hailed the fact that Jiejie being a very aggressive and risk-taking jungler was a positive for the team, so they can get the wheel moving really early on, and they haven't had that style in a long time for the organization.
Yep.
But that's also a downside, because a lot of times they get picked off. Members lose like 20 minutes onwards. Suddenly, much like that top esports series, they end up losing a good chunk of that gold. So it's more of a challenge towards the newer members to be able to keep that consistency alive, so they don't drop off, because you see great heights for this team and how they're able to challenge top 4 placement organizations. They just need to keep that ball rolling. I think Suning is going to be the same team. You throw them Suning at another team, like for instance top esports, and they'll be a consistent squad around SwordArt. I think there's proper direction for them.
Which is super important. We're getting a quick look at that comparison and how they seem kind of line up against each other. And I like when we do this with teams that kind of fit the same bar, but here, there's big points of comparison here, especially towards EDG that, get that early game rolling that we talked about.
So just the 2 major points here, leads at 15, more leads at 15 for EDG, but they have a lot more losses to Suning.
Yep.
Win rates with deficits at 15. So another point too is that Suning is able to come back a lot of the times. If EDG is behind, they stay behind. That's the expectation. The stats align with my expectation coming into this series, is that EDG has leads. That's not a question. Right? But the question is more so what they do with it in the next step. Because a lot of the times they make that misstep, they still find themselves in a deficit anyways, and then another point is that they are far behind. A lot of the times their compositions are fairly mid-game based anyways.
Yep.
And I'm not surprised by that. A lot of the times, if you are looking towards the captain and Meiko, that's the preferred playstyle. That's the playstyle that they had in their championship splits. And so if that's been a proven success for them, it's more so just getting the new members on stage, working with that playstyle, and being comfortable with it.
Because they've committed to that playstyle, they've committed to the jungler and Jiejie, and that's a further discussion where we haven't seen hide nor hair of Clearlove. EDG have stuck to this, and this is what they want to run into going to playoffs, and yes, it is a positive.
And I'm not saying anything about Clearlove being poor at all means. I just need, we just need to see, you know, a new style towards EDG to kind of kickstart, you know, the future for them, because they've been trying to bring in a new jungler at all times. I remember the likes of Fire Lolly.
Right.
You remember the likes of, you know, new junglers coming in, bringing a breath of fresh air, and then the issues mostly come around consistency with them. Clearlove will always bring that, level of shot calling. Spring Split was great for the man, but having Jiejie come in through the B team from the LDL squad, and he has been able to showcase that level of early game aggression that EDG has just lacked.
From minute one, right? I remember the week one, day one game of EDG coming into summer where Jiejie flashes over the red wall. I've quoted every single time because it was that play that I was like, I'm starting to rate this jungler. I'm starting to think that this man has got it going.
Yes, you're right. And that's really where that story has come. It's more the update to that story where, you know, you love to see that from him in the early portions of the game, but you also just need to have him calm down at times later on when they're trying to set up for vision, because you can always do it with help. So there's always that level of, you know, those discussions that come through. A new one is also more so iBoy's current level of play. I think the more recent series, we've seen some poor games from iBoy in particular. The one where he went up against RNG for sure, that was one of his worst set of the split. That was a pretty bad one. So we'll see what EDG, you know, we're getting today. That's always my question, is if they're ready to play for it. And another thing too is you're getting closer and closer to Worlds, and EDG has always got that ticket to Worlds.
That's right.
Usually through just championship points or being able to get that first place spot. But this time around, you expect it to be very similar to last year, where they find themselves in a gauntlet.
Yeah, I remember thinking last year, it's like, oh no, as we've talked about many times before, Rogue Warriors, JDG, who's actually going to be going to Worlds, and then EDG just sneak up on you. They're always in that conversation. And this year, with even stronger teams in the LPL, it's like, how will EDG do it again?
Well, they have great competition. I think when you're looking towards EDG a little bit more, it's just a breadth of talent. Jinoo is an exceptional top lane talent. Ray was certainly a top LPL top laner as well in Spring Split. They'll always have strong mechanical players. It's more so bringing those together. A question that I certainly do not have for Suning.
The flavor of EDG. Which ones are going to be here today? Let's go into their final series here of the LPL.
All right.
And Suning, see if they can challenge them, get themselves to 9. This will be a series to remember as we go into that Olaf, the Yuumi ban, the usuals here. As Suning decide it's Vladimir time no longer.
That must raise the priority of both the Gragas and the Sejuani. And I think a Sejuani pick would be a really strong one early on. I think it's a strong champion. The only thing that has been stopping it have been the Gragas and mostly the Olaf.
Yep.
Olaf has been a big pain in the butt, so nice for EDG to just ban that out outright. But the Karma is still up and available.
That's true. Scout and Meiko will both play that. We've seen before. Jinoo as well will take that to the top lane. It's a triple flex that it is. But Skarner, okay.
Skarner's been a pretty strong pick into the Sejuani as well, so this only strengthens the Sejuani pickup. I wonder if EDG just goes straight for it. You can see them hovering over the Sylas, going to be locked in. Okay.
Sylas also been in response to steal away the ultimate, but look at what it gives up for Suning when we talk so much about Akali on Scout and how that has been his mainstay. You might sacrifice it here.
All right, we'll have to see what Suning end up going for. You're right. I mean, the Akali pickup is a nice takeaway from Scout. Speaking towards the Sylas a little bit more, he's been a strong skirmishing jungler. Pick up Conquerors for him. You're right, snag the Sejuani ultimate if it gets picked up on Suning's side. It's just a good answer overall. And on top of that, strong pick potential through mid. So we'll have to see where EDG ends up slotting it. More often than not, we've been finding it going towards the mid lane. So I want to see if Scout's willing to pick it up here.
Okay. There's Aatrox locked away and in. I mentioned this before, how Aatrox would be A bit of a matchup there for the top side of the map.
Yeah, but now they're just locked in both solo lanes on red side. That should be fairly easy for EDG to start picking into. Immediately, what I'm thinking about is like a Gnar or a Kennen even, something that has that range in the top side of the map that you can start splitting into the Aatrox a little bit more. You can get Grievous Wound fairly easily on the Gnar, so that one's a fine one. All right, so we're just hopping out of pick ban. There we go.
Yeah,
please tell me, just please tell me that it wasn't a solo lane lock-in completely by Suning and it was just a miscommunication. If you tell me that, I'm happy.
Okay, I believe that as well. We'll see what's happening. We'll get back into it in a second. Now, of course, going into this matchup, reminder everyone out there, 9:15, everything enabled once again. The LPL's been on 9:15 for quite a while, and we've seen those change-ups towards, as you're mentioning, things like Sejuani, the jungle priority. We've moved a little bit away from the solo laners, but in the same shape, the LPL has still played that aggressive. Like, let's get those early jungle matchups and see where we go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the teams have been playing towards pretty heavy jungle skirmishing priority. And I'm just talking about, you know, Olaf, Trundle a little bit more often because he does quite well into that pick. And a lot of the times you've been seeing teams that can play through, you know, setting up mid lane and just keeping it a bubble so it doesn't get impacted by early jungle ganks or anything. And then looking to skirmish for Raptor Camp. A lot of the times just trying to pivot for jungle experience advantage. I like that play. I think it's really challenging to be able to see that work consistently because for the likes of Olaf, we've seen multiple games that, yeah, if he gets that early advantage or like against a Sejuani or, you know, a Karthus or something, then he really snowballs heavily with that. You can just start setting up for fights around neutral objectives incredibly easy. But we've seen our fair share of games where he dies early, things don't turn out, and then he heavily relies on the lanes to come through for him. So there's been a lot of that. And then a big pleasant surprise for me is also just how unique a lot of the LPL teams have been.
Yeah.
So different from each other. I would say the priorities for EDG is certainly not the priorities for RNG and BLG.
That's true.
Completely different teams. So you'd have so many different playstyles within the LPL. We have teams who have solely top lane focused playstyle. I'm saying right now, it's a current series for Invictus Gaming are certainly looking like that. You have a lot of mid lane centric playstyles like EDG is currently panning out to be. Bot lane centric playstyles, which is RNG pretty heavily. And there are a lot of them are just our top teams. So it's real fun to be able to see a clash of style there.
It's also really cool when you see things like, oh, hang on, what?
Yep, there we go.
All right, well, you still get a solo laner in essence, but remember that Kiana has been played in the jungle. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very different game one starting off.
Okay, so two great things that have already come through, and I'm just going to talk about it as a combination because Kiana and Gragas is a hell of a combo. Lock them into the wall, you already have a good amount of burst with the AP that Gragas is sending with his cast, and then the ultimate that Kiana ends up providing is not only a good team fight setup, but you've already bursted about 3 or so members that you've comboed with. So I love watching that combination no matter what region you're watching. And then it's the typical Rakan and Xayah.
Yeah.
Just strong dual lane focus, it bridges into the mid game really well, so Rakan always has a way in engage, and the extended range to get the hell out of there.
Sure.
So fun stuff, usual from EDG, bot lane focused. While Suning, you have a mid lane focus here. I want to see who it's going on. Kiana has been a great pick for Maple.
I want to update everyone as well that it was Weiwei actually picking up the wrong champion there, so I wanted to play Kiana all along. And that was why we remade. So.
Kiana and Aatrox sound so alike, you know?
To be
Lock
fair,
in the Kia Aatrox? Yeah, I got you.
To be fair, when I first picked up the Chinese client here, Raz, and you know, of course, everything, the names change, the order was so crazy, I didn't know where I was going. I looked for Blitzcrank, and he was at the bottom. That's just life over here. So
right.
I understand.
Definitely not the reason. That's my big gambit is that that's not the reason.
Well, that's a risky guess, but that's all right. Well, as we return, remember that we're talking about solo laners and the strength here. Now that bottom lane's been secured for EDG, they're starting to target away some of the 80 carries.
All right.
Smlz's Kai'Sa is the first one to go. Let's see if we get another 80 carry ban. And
one great thing about Suning's comp is that they have a good mix of AP and AD damage. So just based off that alone, you can pick an Ezreal and just pick a Jin even, as you can already see. Fans been loving that pick here.
See, they draw that on the day. That's pretty insane.
Smlz is a fabulous Jin player, actually.
True.
That's probably why people are calling out for the pick. Now, he's not been picking it since the small buff that came through it. The only Jin that I've seen currently got played since its small buff is Kobe in the EC.
LEC, yeah. Ooh.
So, more engage coming in from Suning. What are we talking about here? What's this last pick AD carry that Suning has been looking for? Is it the Jinx? He is also a Jinx player, and this is a pretty good composition for that.
You leave us wanting more, so I like this already. You know that now everything kind of sits in place here for Suning as EDG. Work out what that AD carry is going to be.
But at the end of the day, if you're looking towards Leona and thinking that it is like an absurd pick here that's probably setting up for an AD carry, I would stop short and say that Leona is already just a standalone good lane into the Rakan.
Yeah.
Rakan just lacks a lot of HP values, you know, usual armor and magic resist, so if he ever finds an engage in, easy lockdown for the Leona to turn on him. So if we're just talking about lockdown, Suning has a lot of it.
Yeah, actually the CC that just comes one after the other is going to be scary as we finally do get to see that Aatrox that was not locked in originally. EDG taking that away, and all right, we've got a pretty standard comp here from Edward Gaming, but I still want to know what Suning finalized with.
One of the small things that, you know what, I'll give this some breath of time. Before I talk about EDG's composition, I just want to see what SMLZ is cooking up in last pick. No!
Really?
Look,
we
I'm
waited
upset.
all that.
Look.
We waited for that.
I did set up the fact that it could just be an average pick, but it's also SMLZ, and he is one of our most creative AD carries. When there's the AP Mage meta that came through last year, he came out with the Karthus and all that. He was, you know, he was an AP player. He was the Heimerdinger. In an LPL that was just saying, no, we're not touching these AP picks. We're going back to our traditional AD.
True.
He also plays a lot of Yasuo in solo queue. So he's the type of person that wants to branch out, but this game is just not one of them.
He's the only AD carries who want to play support this split rise as well.
That's
Remember
true, the Yuumi.
The Yuumi Pike.
All right, not today.
Not today, but hey, I mean, look, we'll see where the Ezreal build goes. We'll see where this bottom lane goes, because when you have a Leona, the aspect of the morning by your side, you shake up that normal Ezreal lane. You've got a bit of counter engage that you're mentioning working against the Rakan.
That's true. And I think that if we're looking towards Suning's composition, it's flat out really clean how they end up skirmishing. There's a lot of creativity as well with how Akali can come in through flanks. But they can also just come through from the front door. Gragas ultimate right to the wall. If you haven't landed enough CC, Leona ultimate can layer up with that. And then you just have a Kiana that can come whenever she pleases. So there's a lot of nice flank opportunities that they can roll up with. And if you look towards EDG, I'm looking at Scout.
Yep.
Because he can just nab that Kiana ultimate. He already has a Jarvan by his side. The extra terrain now you can use in game. So Silas is going to be fun to watch. iBoy and Meiko are back to their lane dominance with the Xayah Rakan. So there's a lot to look forward to in the laning phase for EDG, and a lot to look forward in the mid game of Suning.
But can they shore it up to make that mid game back to EDG standard? And this is a series that bring us closer to understanding who sits between that 5 to 8. As EDG and Suning head on to Summoner's Rift here for game 1. It is nice having the crowd back. I know last series of cast wasn't RNG-IG, but I tell you what, makes you miss the love and the passion here coming out of the audiences.
We're also hearing in-game music.
Yes.
That's always a positive.
Isn't it just
RNG,
calming?
I'm looking at you.
Every
Give us
single
in-game
time.
music. The Summoner's Rift theme, if not maybe something from 2 Chainz.
Oh yes, it's very similar. As scout this game, I'm going to bring you straight to this. Aftershock Silas mid is something I haven't actually seen in a while. We've been seeing a lot of Conqueror, Electrocute, even Comet. This is reminiscent of when Silas first came out.
Very much depends on the matchup. Like, for instance, if you're seeing Corki, you're definitely going towards the electrocute a lot more frequently because you can trade into that incredibly easily. The problem is that Kiana has a lot of damage. You can already see it just through the electrocute and ignite that she has. So having your aftershock trades and then dipping out, and when you're leaving, of course, the response damage being mitigated is a positive. You can already see the trades coming through. So I like the aftershock pickup from Scout. It's safe, gets him through lane pretty easily.
Needs to make sure, though, he lands the Absconded Duck, because trading back and forth is going to come through. And taking note of the jungle start here is going to be important, because notice that Weiwei started blue side here with an enemy ward from EDG on the red. So they know he's not top side. They know that he started towards the bottom side, as you see the missing ping come out around wall.
Yeah, but the important thing is that they don't know where he's going to be going next, because if he started on red side and then moved up, the ward would catch him doing that. They would know that they can contest him on blue. We'll have to see what ends up happening here, though. Maple's getting opened up on.
That sucks.
Yep.
And that's Aftershock, I guess.
How you doing?
Just pokes his head in and goes for it.
Well, goodbye. He doesn't have teleport either, so he's just gonna chug down a few corrupting potions, and it's a good timing from Jiejie.
Yeah, we talked about
well,
it. Goes
you know.
for us there. Jiejie now launching into full command as Conqueror Jarvan sets to action. Weiwei has himself a barrel, but Jinoo coming down means red for me, not for you.
Throughout all of that discussion, I mean, when I said that they weren't going to be challenging through red, that was before Maple just took the worst trade of all time.
That is true.
He would have been in a good spot to look to contest. They probably would have conceded anyways, knowing that Angel was getting pushed into turret, but at least they would have had a chance, an opportunity to fight. Now they got nothing. At least he got some stone men.
Yeah. Great response here from Jiejie. Goes back to his own side of the map. Scuttlecrab there and available. And
the Stonies.
Look at the positioning towards mid. Scout's coming back into lane. Doesn't need to TP. So Jiejie holds the way for him. Even takes one. That's good jungle tax for you. Is Maple, no, you're not backing. I don't care. You're not backing. Jiejie backing away. Going towards double scuttle. Early game here for Jarvan.
Yeah, he's going to have a Scuttlecrab. He's also set up a slow push here for Scout. I want to see if he can harass the match.
Jinoo might be dead here, question mark, but Q's going to be back up and available now. Electrocute versus Comet. This is the matchup as Weiwei's nearby.
Uh-oh.
Let's go for a body slam. Jinoo, when do you flash? Not in time. That was weird, but it works out.
That's just a visual bug. And also at the same time, yes, his gut is that bad. Just nice gank timing. That's all you got to say. I mean, Weiwei came up top side when the wave was up top, and it was a good position. Jinoo was way too far up the lane, knowing that it was actually pushing into him. So he needed to play patiently there. At least he held on to his flash. Doesn't want to burn it if he's going to die anyways. But good advantage. First blood now going over to the Akali.
I love the expectation. You expect him to get Krugs back away, but he stayed that little bit extra as Meiko underneath turret here. Suning trading so much better. Bit too far forward here for the support.
Yeah, Meiko couldn't land the Q on the backside of it too, so no healing coming up after that one. All right, get me out of here.
Yep. Wait, what's
they're not going to let you.
Going to stop him. Zenith Blade in now. Counter engage there, not just yet as Ignite's down. Predator from the Gragas, who just makes himself known in the bottom
lane. You can definitely dive this. They don't want to lose this entire wave. I want to see if the Gragas is not going to stick around here. They're just going to allow the iBoy to pick this one up alone. That's actually very surprising. Knowing that Meiko had to base in this situation, they could have tried and punished it a little harder.
EDG got the shove out mid lane. They were roaming down, so maybe it's just a safety from Weiwei to go back into his own jungle. Vision, however, has been cleared as that's the ult used immediately. Hits 6 bursts of Scott of Duck. Weiwei goes in for the flash. Maple there. See, Scout goes in too deep, and that was almost good.
Weiwei watched that one at the best viewpoint too. How are you doing? What were you like, really though?
You thought you had the damage.
I mean,
Scout thought.
Yeah. There's not much else you can say about that. I mean, it was a good setup too. Even the ultimate just hitting the tip of the wall was also nice. And then he just flashed forward. So, what are you going to say? He would have been in a good position too.
Yeah.
Maple didn't have Ignite and, didn't have a way to come back into the lane, no TP. So he would have been in a pretty large deficit off that one. So, really unfortunate kill that goes over to Maple. Take a second look at this. I loved the setup.
Yeah.
The only problem was, of course, it wasn't enough damage. And the passive, you have to know that that's not going to be enough damage.
Yeah.
Really smart from Maple just as he dashes in to just ignite him. A little bit of damage knowing that the tower shot will get the kill.
Suddenly gets himself his first item, the first kill for the mid lane, and Summoner's being burnt away here from the Sylas means even with that CS discrepancy, the Qiyana now hitting level 6 is at a very good point.
Yeah, let's take a step back here because with so much happening in favor of Suning, even that one position where EDG did have a great setup, but Suning ends up getting that small lead for themselves. You know, we're at a perfect timing. 7 minutes in, you can start challenging for blue. Rift Herald's going to be coming up in a few.
Yep.
Suning can now start focusing on the top side of the map, and it starts with Jiejie.
There's a level lead here for the Gragas, who is close to picking up the Runic Echoes and Junglers. Yeah, let's just do this again, but this time SwordArt really good dodge, but a Blade Claw locks down 2 from iBoy. They'll challenge this forward, but no level 6 here just yet means that Suning will get out with a smidgen of health.
Yeah, they can still heal up a little bit, but the wave is pushing away from them. That's going to be a risky one from both SwordArt and Smlz. I think they're going to be having to force a heal very soon.
Of course, can bait it across as EDG will get control of their own blue. Surprising considering Suning were here moments ago. But they backed away, picked up Scuttle on the way out. And
ooh, look at Qiyana moving towards the bot side. There was a ward that caught her in transition, but has no idea if she's fully committing to it. So you have to see that iBoy and Meiko are respecting it.
Just moving up to the river. This is going to be Meiko with no boots, just walking through, making sure there's no one there, and clearing out the vision in front of Dragon. So back to lane here for Maple.
But Maple must have seen that control ward is my question mark. Even though it happened throughout the minimap, he did walk past it. So
yep.
If he would just clear it, then he could play towards bot side and give SwordArt and Smlz a little bit more space to work with in the bot lane.
Should be able to find it now as well as Scout moved out of the lane to pick up the old control ward from Suning.
Small mistake from me, just because I know in a few minutes that the Rift Herald can be a priority, but you have an Infernal Dragon bot side, so Suning must play through bot side a little bit more, you know, at need to be able to at least stop EDG from picking up first Infernal.
Of course.
So that could be a good focus for them. I think Maple, I don't know who that control ward belongs to on the top side of this mid lane, but certainly should reposition it.
Maple's moving down now, doesn't have one in the inventory. Weiwei clearing out the control ward at the back of the pit as that's an all-in from Jiejie. He has Cataclysm. Dragon belongs to EDG apparently. Yeah, just get him out of there. Scout going to clear this finally. And the Vision game continues with no real winner.
But good challenge from Jiejie. I mean, if Scout came in a little earlier too and he did have priority through mid, then they could have gotten a good pick off the Weiwei. Weiwei would have to flash in that situation, but nothing of the sort happens there.
Picks up his blue buff. Actually doesn't give it over to Maple, surprisingly enough, with everyone from EDG looking to challenge it away.
Yeah, he wasn't playing those games. Too many people in the area. In fact, they're still there. Get out of my jungle.
We've been here for the last 2 minutes, and Weiwei's like, I'll clear one camp and see where they are after this.
Seems like EDG just has great control here. The bot side control that they've had with iBoy and Meiko is starting to last. And it's allowing them to now play through first Infernal Dragon. Jarvan should be able to take it on his own. Weiwei's going to try to contest for it, but I don't think they're in a position to take this fight.
If they walk near this bit as well, remember, Scout has that ulti available. True Shot Rush can attack Jiejie. 4 versus 2. There's the ult from the Rakan. Meiko jumps in, zones them away. They get the Infernal. EDG trying to make their escape, but explosive cast. There's the Solar Flare, locks him in place. You talked about the interaction, but at the very least, we saw it. Just instant.
Very easily. I mean, that Ezreal ultimate certainly helped out because the Jarvan didn't want to do anything with that fight. They didn't even have eyes on where the Ezreal was. He could have been closer. They would have had, you know, numbers disadvantage there. So they were just saying, all right, let's take the dragon, just get the hell out of here. Losing a kill for that. Suning finally, they at least trade for something, which is a positive.
Still up in gold here in this game as this could be the all-in. Angel going to get tanked down. Jinoo has the ulti available and Flash get out of the Shroud, and Angel could die, but he doesn't need to take it. He's like, yep, I'll force her out on lane and I'll push forward.
At least he keeps his ultimate. At least that's something.
No Shroud up and available. Jinoo might all-in under turret. Let's see.
Yeah, this is just way too much pressure here. He walks up to that minion wave. Jinoo has Q3 and he has Flash, so he could go for that all-in knowing that the Shroud from Akali is down.
And Jiejie is nearby with Cataclysm, Flash, Flag, and Drag at the ready. So Maple coming up here to respond, and that's what you need as Jinoo just goes in again. As the ult, as we mentioned, Shuriken Flip's going to tag him, looking for the perfect execution. The channel comes through, the Flash immediately, Jinoo cues back, but what happened there? You thought he had the advantage till he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you call it greed. Because it was working so well for Jinoo. But once again, you look to the minimap and there's no one there. Jiejie was taking his own camps. Mid lane was just getting a shove of its own. But Suning had been concocting the plan to go topside because Angel was calling for that help. So EDG had such a great lane to work through.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe they just didn't get to want the same memo for Jinoo. So if Jiejie worked topside to mirror him or match him, then he would have been in a great position. You could take that fight. He was just alone.
Would have forced him out. Angel would have had to do something about it. And EDG might have had priority in the top side, but now through mid, we watch Scout once again onto Maple. Aftershock's going to prop at half health. The ult goes in the wall. He flashes away. Here comes the quickness. Once again, EDG. 3 members there with the flag. Drag out the solar flare. Slows down to the body slam flash. Jiejie flashed as well. So easy from the Akali as 2-0-1. We now turn for the rest of the fight, and EDG getting cornered out. But Scout picking up 1 kill. Delays enough as Jinoo comes back in, but he has no ult from the last fight. He looks for SwordArt. He dunks him. He finds him, and EDG with the recovery. Meiko's following up and now looking for the upward into the sky. Suning will run away after getting the majority of the fight.
Yeah, at least Jinoo roams over and is able to trade back. So it's not too bad for EDG, but at the end of the day, Suning's just out-rotating, out-moving. You just love to see the fact that Weiwei SwordArt is working so closely together to give Maple the leads that he's been looking for. So 3 kills early on for the Kiana.
Yeah.
Maple should just find himself on a side lane soon enough and should be able to run wild.
No one to match him. 2-0-2 on the Akali as well.
Yes.
And it's funny because we've seen Scout run away with this pick multiple times, but now in the other hands of Angel, he is going to run away with this lane, and that's a great shuriken flip. Perfect execution is almost available. Jinoo either needs to run or respect this Akali.
This is why we go back to step 1 and have that conversation about Angel as a player, because bringing in 2 mid laners just to rotate between these lanes, the idea is that you respect him and his mechanics.
Yep.
The play that they had in this team fight, a lot of it was because of individual, coordination that came in there. I mean, coordination and individual play. Angel had good eyes to follow up on Weiwei's engage towards Jarvan, picks up the kill. Scout still plays well here. He ends up dying for it. This is just a good follow-up from Jinoo to come in and at least answer back to the kill. So it's not all bad for EDG, but as a team, Suning is working well together.
They really are. Towards this Rift Herald, once again, they're going to force it out. As looks, they're being caught out. Great ulti again against the wall. Maple knows this kill's secured. The Cataclysm for good measure as it pulls him off the Rift Herald, but for another kill.
It's a snowballing Kiana. Watch out. It's going to be happening a lot more.
Rift Herald this time going to be taken away as well. If EDG challenges, they will lose. So they move their efforts to the bottom side, and yep, zeros across the board. That's what this early game feels like for Edward Gaming.
You know, what's really funny is that you just can't dodge out from that. If she E's on you and Q's afterwards, it just locks on.
That's true.
So you just gotta not be in the area of the
yeah.
Kiana.
Don't face her.
Don't fight. And don't even look at her.
3-0-1, 3-1-2, sorry, that's not even close to the numbers. It's Yomu's Ghostblade double longsword. The double lethality is always a surprise when you're far behind, and Scout's going to get that surprise as Maple, once again, we have a conversation about this mid lane, how iconic he was, especially in the LMS on Flash Wolves. And coming into 2019, it's kind of been a build-up here from spring to summer as to how good he really is and how much respect he deserves.
Look, it usually is for... yeah, okay.
Yeah. You got to get the blue buff.
Well, I mean, it was going to expire anyway.
That's true, but you got to get the blue buff.
You got to get that blue buff.
Yeah, there you go.
But to answer your question, a lot of players that come into the LPL have to have at least some building up period because it's just such a different play style. That was mentioned with Karsa coming in initially when it was between him and MLXG. MLXG just had the style that fit the LPL and fit the team so well. And all that slow play, obviously you have to be able to adjust and be more willing to pick up skirmishes alongside your team. It was the same situation for Maple. So Maple comes into the team, realizes that he needs to be willing to skirmish more frequently, and he's been actually fitting in ever since.
Speak of skirmishes now, and Jinoo knows that he probably can take this if he finds himself with that Infernal Chains, but now messing it out, Angel. Just going so back and forth, but another good Q here from Jinoo. We're just going to be stuck on this for the next minute, I think.
It's only going to get worse when the Akali picks up Gunbow.
Yeah.
Then the sustain battle just never ends. Nice pressure coming in through from iBoy, so he's able to pick up the first turret bot side. And remember, the reason why dual lanes are just sticking around the bottom lane is just because RNG dragons are really panning out.
Yeah, they really are.
Mountain Dragon, exactly, so you don't have to play up top side any longer to pick up like Mid lane turret, it's not even a question.
Quick do-si-do there from Maple, walking away from the absconded duck. But you're right, EDG know this is just sitting here waiting for it with their name on it. 4 members down the bottom side make that 5 shortly as Jinoo's making the walk as well.
It's really the only thing I feel that EDG have been counting their blessings for. It's all in. I'm like, you got to get that word.
I'm over there.
Because right now their strength has been their dual lane. And the fact that they've been able to keep the same matchup, play towards the dragon, nice timing on this one as well.
Yeah.
To not only pick up something in the bot side of the map, but also protect them, cover them picking up the dragon. So as long as they start on dragon now, they'd be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, making someone respond to it, and it is the strongest part of the map with the Xayah sitting here now. It's going to get a charge at the turret, Suning move to the mid lane, make this quick, but EDG responded at the very least.
Yeah, but now they're always playing defensively, having to respond to the bottom lane push, responding to the mid lane push. It hasn't panned out too well. They haven't been able to clear out a lot of the wards EDG has placed down. So there we go. I mean, EDG has been able to respond. Oh, wow.
Well, you want to make a statement, there it is.
Trying to chunk down Smlz by any means. He wasn't able to accomplish that.
Very early in the game to do so. Angel burning teleport to get down here though, so you can see now, actually with the wave getting shoved out, maybe Suning, yeah, they turn for the fight. The Soul Flare used in place as it'll be the enemy one. The True Shot Barrage comes through, misses. EDG survive for now, but Jinoo's walking up. Oh yeah, let's go through the Shroud. Dunk him, wow, he hit everything. But now, where's the turnaround? World End is going to be used. Angel doesn't have the Shroud. Shuriken misses as well. Jinoo flashes on in, thinks he has it, but he's not going to revive. He gets help from the team, but Suning already find their first 2-man flag and drag. EDG find one, but can they get the rest? Angel jumped on Jiejie, getting chunked out low. How do you go? Suning away up the river. They want to disengage.
Nice trade coming through, but it was all started from Jinoo picking up a really good trade on top of the Akali. This is the second time this game that, you know, they could have gotten a lot more. Definitely was more of a communication error, and it's only going to get worse. Gragas has found his pick here.
Yeah, the Lovers duo split up. Bit of a divorce coming through with iBoy level 11 still confident in taking this, and he does. So 200 CS, by the way, here on the strengthened up 80 carry of EDG.
He's getting real close towards not only getting that coal stack completed, but also his damn Infinity Edge. Oh, they got somebody.
Yeah, Solar Flare, but Weiwei's over the wall. They don't know this. They don't have vision. Scout's going really deep here. He's going to be caught out, chunked down, but Suning are still that low. And Maple joining in. That'll help them for now, but EDG might actually have found priority here over the Dragon.
We'll see. J4 coming right back onto the map. They should be able to reaffirm, you know, control of vision here. You can even see the pings coming through. Suning do want to still come back and contest for it, but I think right now, with how much pivoting that's gone towards their dragon, EDG has done a pretty good job at being able to nail the vision around there.
This is what you're mentioning though, like really good trades here from Jinoo, but he decides to go further.
And that's where the problem comes through, right? Because you should know that Suning is starting to rotate over, that you already have that bit of vision to know that that's going to be the case, and the communication from your team that's been handling them for the most part. You already got a good chunk on Angel, you should be happy about that.
Yeah.
You can press back and know that Akali is either going to go back to base or have to hit a wave.
And now you have to World Ender again with 3 members under the turret. He doesn't get a chance. Jinoo tries to hit them, but Suning say no. Big pick off of the top laner while we're pivoting around that dragon still up.
This is a frustrating day for Jinoo.
Yes.
Flatly put, he has been doing well, but then having taken that extra step. Now, we don't have context of how that was set up on top of Jinoo, but it's a pretty bad timing.
Yeah, 1 and 4 now on the Aatrox, still without the first item. Optimizing towards a Hex Drinker, but while we're having that chat, Dragon's being taken here, Mountain, and I love EDG. Like, look, we'll get vision around the top side. We'll forfeit this one for now. Bottom side of the map belongs to Suning.
And you roll the dice, and the next one's going to be Mountain. So we have a pretty damn good day for, you know, playing around bot lane.
Yeah. An explosive day, Raz. The series that we've got lined up. This is only the beginning.
To get the full context, pushing up a wave, and of course, you have no way to actually save yourself when a Kiana is moving straight towards you. There's always terrain next to a turret, so good luck.
Super clean execution there from Suning as well. So gold's still dead even at this point, all things considered, as EDG trade back that top lane turret. But now we play the waiting game here going into the mid game, where we've had an explosive early one.
So I'm going to talk more about just the situations that Jinoo has been in, because a lot of the times, correct, you can play it better. There's a lot more ways to play around Jinoo's early game success or positive trades. But Jinoo also just has to understand the certain situation.
Wow, good catch here onto Angel. The flag drag started off as in goes the Rakan once again. They jump back onto SwordArt. Angel has to disappear with the perfect execution, and he's out of the fight. EDG got that set up from Jiejie's prediction.
Yeah, good control ward's over on that side of the map anyways. Should be able to net them this mid lane turret.
Hello there, way over the wall. He body slams in. The wave clears there, but not before EDG can get the turret. And this is the first meaningful gold lead, or at least a bit of momentum that EDG have found.
But you're right. I mean, they find themselves a gold lead now. They're in a pretty comfortable spot where now iBoy's been able to hit his 2-item spike on an IE and Essence Reaver. He can play around team fights a lot more confidently. You look towards how, Jiejie has been playing this one out, and his engages have been on point. And he can tank a little bit more with the Gargoyle Stoneplate that he's been able to pick up for himself. So team fights for EDG is starting to look a lot better.
Out of a player who, as you mentioned, we got the Infinity Edge, the Essence Reaver, 2 items here for iBoy. Just as a side note, if you haven't been watching EDG recently, there have been a lot of questions about iBoy, as we mentioned earlier on. This is a very solid start to a player that hasn't had the best of times in lane, the best of mid-games to accompany EDG.
It's the typical communication issues that happen between him and Meiko. If Meiko goes out to ward or go out for a mid-lane play, then iBoy will agree to a wave and die for it a lot of the times. It kind of reminds me of actually SMLZ and SwordArt in Spring Split. It's very mirrored. And there are just like that series I mentioned earlier on versus RNG. That was just a bad day for him. So you get those mechanical errors coming through in team fights and in lane. But this is the expectation that we have of him coming in. He's a world-class AD carry, much like SMLZ. Like, talent across the board here is phenomenal for both EDG and Suning.
That's right.
So we are being treated to a pretty damn good day of games, but right now my issue with how Suning's been playing and been kind of giving up a lot of wins is that they're not allowing their side lanes to come out and succeed. Like, you have a Kali who's been able to at least push these lanes versus Jinoo so you can get vision control in bot side, red side jungle. Or you also have a Qiyana that was initially snowballing in these lanes, and if you put her on a side lane, she can handle Scout pretty well. But that has not been actually given to them. They've been over-pressuring mid before their side lanes have been sorted.
Because now that it's settled down, it looks like that will be the response with Qiyana sitting up there, but not any further, pushing out the wave and trying to find some pressure on the map.
But take a look at the gold leads. Initially, all of it was going towards the Qiyana. Has certainly now moved towards Sylas, who now has the gold leading the advantage by 1K. So now Sylas is doing really well for himself. You look towards top lane matchup, you can say that, Jinoo's been coming right back into it.
I mean, he's got a 30 CS lead, yeah.
Yeah, while having those 4 deaths to his name. It's going to be pretty bad here for Angel.
Oh, yeah. Considering everything from Jinoo lands once again. Hello. Now, iBoy's just getting everything. iBoy this game reminds me of the classic Uzi. He will take everything in every lane, every jungle camp, in every single place. We're having another look at gold because they're like, hang on, did we look at iBoy? Did we look close enough? The answer is no. He's got a 1K gold lead himself. And we're getting towards that third item, the Zeal, the rapid fire cannon,
Yeah, and to your point about, very close to being like Uzi, a lot of our LPL AD carries, Mystic, SMLZ, iBoy, teams willing to give them as many resources as possible, jungle camps especially past 15 minutes, mid lane, all waves, I'm just going to say. The only wave that they won't be given is mostly like just the side lane wave past the 20-minute mark. So they find themselves with absurd CS margins. 297 CS 25 minutes into the game is a good indication of that.
All right, Raz. I got to look at the clock, though, just quickly while we're having a chat. Never
Got
mind.
something.
I was absolutely wrong. Scout steals himself a solar flare. Okay.
But they weren't confident about it. Remember what they used for that. Rakan ultimate is now down. They would have to rely on the Leona ultimate from Scout. Let's see if he ends up confident enough to pick for something. They can just go back towards the vision they have on Dragon.
Are they caught out? There's the explosive cast. The feathers will fly once more. Scout locks down the ulti. 2-man flag and drag. EDG find the execution, but Maple has now joined the fight. Sends the ulti into the wall. Locks down iBoy. The damage is null and void as Jiejie now trying to escape. Suning and played the back half of this fight so damn well as Maple wants to re-engage, but he's already forced them away.
Just between Angel and Maple on that one because EDG fully go in. Remember, they went into that fight not having Meiko's ultimate. And then you start to see the Shroud come down. You have to back away from it. The Qiyana ultimate come through, and that really chunked Scout there. So Great comeback on this
look
one.
at him, Maple.
Ooh, stopping their base. They get a lot for this.
Yeah, waves are pushing up, team towards Baron, a clear division. Deep vision plus the double Mountain Dragon here for Suning, and yeah, it is that kind of game.
Double Mountain. Now, it won't be double Infernal unless EDG picks up the next one. But it's crazy how back and forth this game has been. Angel and Maple in the last fight, I'm sure we'll look back at it and see how they were able to really be impactful in it. And then Smlz has started to really ramp up in DPS.
Yep.
For the majority of the game, he's been stacking up his Mana Moon. Now he has a Muramana, and I think for this fight he was able to have his completed Blade of the Rune King. But focus for me has been the all-in that comes through from EDG. The great reaction, honestly, to get DPS down on towards Smlz. He has to flash away. They want to chase it down. Jarvan ultimate coming through as well. But then here comes Maple. Right into the back line. Takes a large chunk of damage from iBoy. He doesn't feel comfortable moving up. The Shroud, especially once that's layered, then you don't want to be able to get anywhere near these assassins.
Yeah.
So this is something now EDG has to deal with. iBoy, if he gets chunked down by anything, and he's at 50% HP, then not only is he going to worry about Maple and the added damage, the bonus damage that can come through from his grounded Q, but also just the damn Akali that's likely going to jump on top of your head.
That's right, the Akali that has this Zhonya's Hourglass that can delay for time now with 2 items. And also the fact that Maple in that last fight, he had his Dust Blade. So we're dealing with 2 lethality items. Kiana as Scout finds himself another Solar Flare. They've locked themselves down, the Akali.
Wow.
Never mind, no Zhonya's needed as EDG go into full flight mode. We're above 30,000 feet, and Weiwei can't breathe. A triple kill for the 80 carry, and EDG online.
The 2-man knockup coming in from Rakan on the back half of that too. They're pretty low. This is going to be tough.
I mean,
you
it's
might
up
want
to
to move away from
SMLZ
them.
and Maple. They pull them off the Baron. True Shot Barrage almost takes down Scout as iBoy starts facing him off.
Just damn good positioning from both SMLZ, you know, but as
Hang on, let's pause on that. The flash is there. Auto attacks at the ready. He'll die as Maple takes out the back half, and Jiejie teleport is coming in. EDG brings Scout. They say, Maple, what are you doing? Punk, get out.
They already accomplished their work, and then they kill themselves. I'm not going to blame Maple for this one. He was just trying to play damage control. But SMLZ had already poked them out and then walked a step too close. iBoy is more than willing to blow flash for that, so
Here
so
we
he's
go
gonna
again,
try, second
Raz.
attempt.
Here we go. Angel jumps in. The Solar Flare is a good lockdown with the perfect execution. Angel's playing as well. The Shroud is in the middle. He flushes back in. He survives, but now goes golden. How are EDG losing it? It's because Angel's a wrecking ball who almost dies to the anti-perfect execution. Scout in the middle. You know he's going to die, but will he take SwordArt with him? Or can they even chunk him? This is a bonkers game 1.
I love this game. Baron fights galore. And now the vision control around Baron is in Suning's favor.
Yeah.
But that was full desperation mode from Suning to keep EDG away from the Baron. They were able to accomplish it, and then they made mistakes around it, and now I think they're going to make another mistake again.
Great ward, though, here from EDG. Spots the positioning here from Weiwei, and they know they're doing Baron, but double mountain, this goes so quick.
No AD carry from EDG. This should be an easy pickup for them.
But they turn for the fight instead onto Jiejie. Explosive cast, everything explosive onto them. They pick up the Baron as well. Suning want to make their escape, but Jinoo here in the front line takes on everyone before getting deleted himself. Meiko jumps in. That's a great Rakan ulting, but can iBoy do the work? He's already found one, and Suning disengaged. They just need to take the Baron and leave.
Nice fight from EDG, and even better Rakan ultimate from Meiko. But at least you got 3 members away with Baron. I'm going to take that.
Yeah, you do.
Out of all that happened in the last 3 minutes, I'm going to take at least the fact that Suning come out with Baron buff in tow.
Well, that'll be the most memorable part here for Suning, is picking up the Baron, all things considered, on SMLZ, Weiwei, and Angel. That's great.
This is a real dumb game.
In such a good way, though, Raz.
So it starts with, I would imagine it to be, oh, this is really far in the beginning. How far are we willing to go? Meiko gets a great 2-man knockup and charm on towards the Leona and, of course, Gragas. From this point forward, they're feeling pretty confident to go into Baron. But you still have, you know, the Ezreal and the on Maple as well, who is stopping you. This is now a fast forward all the way until the end, when the Xayah ended up coming back TPing into the fight and taking those two members down. Suning recognized that they were on the losing end of that, ended up backing away completely. But the reality of it was, if we had just had SMLZ not die in that situation, they had fully pushed EDG back, they would be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
They have to really put some jockeying down for them to find themselves in a position right now where they have Baron buff.
And I just love how we're kind of jockeying again, this time around the mid lane. As look at the rest of Suning, they're disappearing. EDG are trying to push up this lane, and Suning are like, no, we deny the double Infernal, we get it now.
All right, let's see if we can get a steal. Jiejie's in the area.
Cast. That's going to get the jungle away from there. He can't go in for the steal, but look at the flank here. Ready for Angel, he's in a good position. He doesn't choose to go in.
Was thinking about it. He has stopwatch. He actually could have done it, but the team didn't want to risk it on that one play.
Pick up Infernal. Suning have the dragons, the cards ready for the Elder Dragon to be coming into existence in 440.
Likely didn't want to fight because the Gragas didn't have the cast. And picking that fight, knowing that Gragas would be largely useless, that's the risk you're coming into it. So recognizing you have Baron buff, play it smart, play it slow. EDG still have some shock factor left into them, so no, Suning want to keep the lead that they have. With how much this lead has been bouncing back and forth, I appreciate it.
Yeah, there hasn't been a clear-cut winner now. Suning have caught back up. They've taken a bit of gold themselves. And with this turret going down, they're 1,000 in the lead, but that's all it is. And it's more about the item spikes, what comes through with it. We were talking pre-game about SMLZ's innovation. It's a BT with Blade of the Ruin King here for the Ezreal.
Yeah, he wants to stick to the AD. You have a pretty hefty AP on top side, but we haven't engaged now.
That's a flash coming through from Meiko. Jiejie as well. Cataclysm in. 3 members. The Soul Flare drops down. The explosive cast stolen from Scout. They jump back in. And EDG has the momentum again. They still won't kill him. But Suning back to the turret they go. But Angel, has he been spotted?
No, he hasn't. They don't know he's here.
They're going to go for the re-engage. Maple gets the perfect ult, perfect execution. Into the ultimate himself. Angel finds himself with the Shroud. They launch out the feathers, but Angel is low. It's because iBoy hits that absolute meteorite. SwordArt goes back in for the re-engage, but the goldenness of Scout saves him, launches him back in. He flashes onto Weiwei. iBoy runs forward once again. And this fight, just like the last, is bonkers. Even under the turret, iBoy flashes in. Gets another triple kill, and now the turret's his enemy.
Yeah, Maple's thinking about it. You want to still think twice on that one. iBoy knew he had flash available, that he can play around the assassins. Ends up going straight for it.
iBoy's the machine. He's
Maple thinking about it.
3. He's like, oh god, just wait for this guy to leave.
Please. But you're right, Maple, he went for it, but iBoy is way too strong at this stage. Take a look at his items. He is basically full build, with just QSS needing to be upgraded now.
Unstoppable machine. This is the game of iBoy. This really is the game of inches. As that fight was all Suning, and then EDG turned it on a dime.
I mean, you think about it, how it all started off. It was SMLZ getting caught out at the very beginning.
That's true.
He thought he had the distance, even using both his summoners to being able to get out, and I thought you got it too. But the chase down from EDG is incredible. I think this is it. Oh, this is the
we get the
POV.
special one, yeah.
So when he had flash, he knew he could just play this one out well. Repositions, the entire team repositions to be able to get as much damage as they can towards the Aurelia. I mean the Akali. So Akali has to piece out. She doesn't have too much AP or the name. Just even better done by her team. The moment Akali comes in on a flank, to just protect her as well as they can.
I love it. There's no talking here. I can't see iBoy's mouth moving. It's just pink. He says, I'm going in, flashes on, makes the call. 9-1 and 3, as I mentioned before. Now has a Mercurial Scimitar. Now is officially full build.
At that situation, you should know what you're doing. It's more so, you know, Meiko, Jiejie making the call, moving to come in and help. Meiko came in at the right time, and they had a lot of great protection to deal with that Akali on a flank. So we're in a good spot. One thing to remember now, iBoy does not have flash available. Yeah, of course, he used it in the prior fight. He does have his upgraded now Mercurial Scimitar. So he's completely at full build 35 minutes into the game.
And then you compare with SMLZ, who is at the same level right now. Going to wait for my beer to get off the screen. Thank you so much. There's an Executioner's Calling there as the final item getting built. So the Ezreal in a similar position where SMLZ can still pop off.
This is a pretty tough point of the game for the Ezreal, especially the AD variety. You know, he's not going to be able to scale all too well. The Bloodthirster is necessary with how much damage is diving straight in, and it's not a too uncommon build. We do actually see late game DT for Ezreal's. It's just that if I look at the comp, I don't think you need to go towards AD, but he recognized the bulk of the damage is coming from the Gragas and the Akali. Look at this.
We're doing this again, but his Scout caught out. Is he too fast? Steals the Kiana
Wow.
ultimate. It's used. The golden once again as Jiejie jumps on in. EDG are separated around. Look at what's going on here. Are we going back to what we said about EDG, where they're just all over the place?
I don't think Jiejie wanted to buffer that EQ forward, because he ends up putting himself even farther in no man's land. Gets picked off for it at the worst time imaginable.
In front of Baron. Suning, of course, start this one up with Double Mountain. It's going down quick once again.
We get into that 2k HP margin.
And it's gone. Suning taken away. 5 versus 4. EDG can't contest.
All right. Another Baron buff going over to Suning, and they have all 5 members with it now. Just messing with you.
We're going down to Elder.
We're taking it all.
We're going to get everything. All right. How do you take this one away? EDG going to contest this. No, they're backing. They're like, forget it.
The fun thing about this is that, yeah, take a look at both their solo laners playing this one out as just the bodyguards. What are you doing around here in the vicinity, sir? Move away from the Raptor camp.
Elder number 1. Double Mountain and Infernal Elder. This game for Suning is set up now for success.
Just taking a look, as you can see in the pop-up. About right. Yeah, he buffers forward. And he's definitely going to get picked off for that one. Already was surrounded. I think he was in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, because if he didn't buffer forward, he would have certainly gotten stunned on the wall by the Kiana. So, just a bad situation to find yourself in from EDG.
Now look at the resources on the board. A lot of inner turrets available here for Suning, with the Baron still there, enabling the push forward.
Oh, that's a fat Ezreal.
That is a fat Ezreal.
Nice.
Picked up Mortal Reminder on his way back. Also, I want to point out that while we're talking about 80 carries, iBoy picked up his 6th item, being a Guardian Angel here.
Oh, nice.
Selling the boots.
We're going in barefoot. That's what we're doing.
That's the true full build. That's all you need. All right. Next fight wins. That's the feeling here. We are 39 minutes in, and once again, EDG decide this could go late, because it's already there. Jinoo caught out. That's world ended to be popped with Jiejie, the flash in from Meiko. Maybe they can turn this one around, and Suning has the damage there. Look at the Ezreal firing away. iBoy has been challenged, but Maple goes too far. He's destroyed and into the Guardian Angel himself, as iBoy's still there. Gets a 3-man Blade Caller, but Suning get out. They've already taken Jinoo down.
Look, that was a great response from iBoy, but you were already in a bad situation to start. Suning had a great setup towards this inner tower. Jinoo even being in that position was just putting himself out there to dry.
Again, 1-7 and 8 from the top laner, 1-8 and 11 from the jungler. Top side of the map this game for EDG. It's hard. And now defending against the inhibitor push here from Suning. That's going to expire with the Baron. Looks even harder.
This is that clean flash rolls macro, my friend. You know, when you have Maple and SwordArt on your team, you just have to close your eyes and let them guide you. Except you got to open your eyes, Angel.
Yeah, because Angel, he's not part of Flash Wolves. There's perfect execution to follow up, but he's out. And Suning like, yeah, okay.
Now you can close your eyes again. Now it's all right.
You wake up to a nightmare. Suning have destroyed the inhibitor in the mid lane. This is a nightmare for EDG.
Yeah, but that's the worst ASMR possible. You're trying to cool yourself down.
Last time I said that word on Cast Race, you weren't happy about it. How dare you come back and say
Context,
this?
my friends. Context.
Always important. I can give you no context this time around. Suning coming towards top side. And as we come back into reality, Jinoo now alive again. Question marks will appear.
All right. My primary focus is to do mid, which is why Scout pushing forward and trying to get Maple away from the wave was very smart. They buy themselves enough time to now defend on this wave.
Okay. 2-man Solar Flare was good. Explosive cast used, but 2 ultimates down here for Suning.
But that entire defense was well done by Scout, because the wave was coming through on mid, Kiana couldn't follow it, Scout was pushing him off of it and was forcing a fight entirely, and so suddenly it was very easy for EDG to group up as a unit around topside. Now that Baron buff is going to waste.
Yep. But Raz, how long was that last game against Top Esports? What was the longest game already? 52 minutes?
Well, it's 50, but I can look at it and see the exact seconds.
Sorry to do this of you, but look, it was long. The point is, it hit towards 50 minutes. And EDG once again, at 41 minutes, we're going ultra late game.
Don't worry about me. I'm getting the clacking.
I'm not worried about you. This is a game where Scout has been on the recovery, on the mend. His earlier start was rough. But 3 items here with Rabadon's Death Cap compared to Maple, who got the full build ages ago.
52 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay.
Was the last series we saw from EDG. Now, it's still actually 10 minutes off, so I don't expect this game to go 10 minutes longer.
But you never know.
Look,
Also,
if it happens, no, I'm not losing anything. I'm not betting a damn thing. I'm going to be winning a bet by the end of the day, damn it. I'm not going to be losing anything.
maybe. We'll see.
No, I'm winning.
Okay, we'll see.
Just so people know, the predictions bet right now, if I win a single series, I just win everything. I predicted Suning. Everyone else has predicted EDG for whatever purpose, whatever region.
Clement did Suning.
Well, he's way too far behind.
Well, he actually called Clement irrelevant. Those other two guys, just you and me.
And just so you know, it's the typical bet that we have with predictions, which is wigs.
Right.
Just so people know.
Glad it's not a dinosaur costume.
That's true.
That was
a good time.
That was a lot worse.
I was thinking about it. It just takes too long to actually ship in. So that's just something that I wasn't willing to go for, but I have some wonderful wigs for everybody.
For everyone. So everyone has to wear them.
Yeah, I was going to make the decision to actually do you dirty. But then I was like,
it's
why
like,
would I punish him when he was the one who was close? Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be even funnier. But I'm a fair man. I'm a fair human being.
So everyone has to
so
wear them.
So everyone gets the punishment.
Except you, right?
Why won? What the hell is even the point of the game if I'm the one making a fool of myself?
That's very true.
Don't you keep talking like this and you're the only one wearing.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir. Great hierarchy here. All right, that's a pick off over the SwordArt. Meiko's going to find the knock up here. Jiejie jumps in once again. Soulflake going to get popped. Soulflake flashed away from EDG in this choke, and Jinoo coming up from the flank. We're back to action here for Suning EDG.
Angel's in a wonderful position. I mean, that terrain is going to be doing him a lot of good. Just repositioning to be able to get blue. Blue on a Kali is beautiful.
Yes. He got spotted out there over the wall, though, so they know that he's over the wing as Baron, number 3, is sitting there and waiting.
All right, but remember, the super minions are coming straight through mid lane. Suning can play this how long as they want to do. Angel just got to watch himself. He's actually in a dire situation. EDG can just force a fight through Rakan.
Meiko going forward. This is, again, just up to the vision game here. EDG in that choke still.
Just don't do anything, Maple.
Runs forward.
Just calm yourself. Relax.
Scout got the ulti as well. That's a big ult. Right now, Solar Flare, Supreme Display of Talent seem to be the biggest.
Just push another wave through mid. You should be able to do it, the super minion wave that you got. Oh no, they're going to try and move towards. Do not move towards the Elder Dragon. Even if it is second Elder. All right, they're going to be moving towards second Elder.
Okay. It's only Angel and Maple, though. The rest of the team is still in lane.
They have been moving up topside for so long that there is no vision control for EDG to even contest for this. So this could be a team fight setup here for Suning.
It's funny because everyone knows where they are.
No one wants to make that first move.
Except for Jiejie. Like, yeah, let's go in. Angel in the brush. Scuttlecrab going to be taken here by Maple to secure vision around Elder. And look at Suning still backing away as Jinoo and Scout looking for this Kiana, but towards Baron. Suning will just go.
Are they just going to two-man it? But they have eyes on it. EDG should know that this is going to be the case.
Very suspect. Scout doesn't have teleport though.
Oh, it's going to be a one-man. He has Bloodthirster, baby.
Yeah, he can do this by himself, but the flag's going to spot him out while Angel moves back to the side lane. Silas with him. Remember, Scout no teleport, Angel teleports, so he can always rejoin the fight, but they're not interested. EDG going towards Elder.
Just so you know the context behind that, Angel had to move the long way around, so this is a battle. That's first Elder Dragon for EDG. That's Baron buff for Suning.
Baron number 3, the base wasn't really broken apart from the inhibitor turret. EDG want to play that game again as they deny the second Elder here from Suning. Baron secured at the same time. We continue.
This is going to be a long one, because usually when games last forever, it's because one team has all the wave priority and the other team has all that team fight prowess. Right now, they can play around iBoy very easily. And Scout has the AP now with full AP build. He needs to fill his last one, but right now he has Rabadon's, Get That, Zonia's. He's got everything. And he can use that on, the Gragas cast that's going to pack a punch, the Ezreal ultimate that's just going to slay. Like, they have so much teamfight power, and then they have a Xayah. So EDG should win the team fight, and Suning, they cannot position for one. They have to rely on the waves around it, which is why it's nice that they have a Baron buff, but EDG should be able to defend this.
Side lane's pushing in towards top side. Kiana sitting there by herself and going to follow this wave through while EDG group is 5 mid. The Akali was down on bottom side as well doing the same.
I think we're going to slowly move into an AP build here for Smlz. Smlz's ultimates are not really packing a punch here. He's starting to really drop off here with the build that he has currently, so we'll have to see what ends up panning out. Remember, I think W on AP on Ezreal is like a 90%.
It's pretty big, yeah.
AP ratio. So if we get to that stage where you have so much damn gold in your pockets, you're going to be making that move.
He's so damn slow as well, so we'll see what happens next time he backs away, because it's just been the Sorcerer's Elixir, from my understanding, that's been picked up. And we are at that point where now we're finally looking towards top lane, jungle, and looking at the builds that are coming through.
No, we're at that point where the anxiety starts to build up.
Yeah, but that was there 7 minutes ago, you know.
But it's only getting worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Anxiety is exactly like a, what is it called again? You go into Sorcery Tree and it's just gathering storm. It's a gathering. It only builds up. That one fight, that one pick can turn into a game. Especially since if you're EDG, you can just have a marathon or at least a parade straight through mid lane, take down that inhibitor turret, inhibitor easily. You actually have so many tanky members as well, just looking at Jiejie and Jinoo, that you can win a game just off one team fight pick. So Suning is at that danger zone.
All right, props Predator. And that's why Elder's still active here on EDG, about to expire. Angel in the side wave, bringing the rest of Suning in and taking this bit by bit as Smlz will be able to take this turret down with one auto, finds it, and slowly working their way towards this bottom lane. And Suning committing as 4 with Kiana in the mid lane.
They might end up moving towards mid lane. You're right about Kiana being there, just setting up the wave. They need to at least set this one up so they can bounce straight through mid. I want to see what that looks like. Meiko's starting to get that control ward get out. Get out of here.
He's a big feather man.
Yeah. Definitely.
Elixir of Iron. Meiko's found some good engages so far. See what he can find here as Jinoo's over the wall. Wants this game to have a conclusion. He misses everything. Shuriken flip into the wall as Maple now joins the fight. Scouting around the side as well. Maple launches the ulti to no effect, but with Baron buff, with a couple of minions there, Suning is still pushing.
But that's still a positive for Suning. That's a lot of chunk that Jinoo ended up taking there. Oh, but now
Maple gets caught out. Double knock up here. They've found the mid laner, but can they kill her? Into the brush element, they find themselves as Jinoo goes in the world ender. And look at Angel gets absolutely chunked out with Solar Flare. But EDG have got the pick they need. Maple comes out of GA, but the rest of his team are dead. The Nightmare's there. And Suning have been routed by a big feathery couple.
Take a look at the death timer, 70 seconds on Smlz. Maple and Weiwei were the only ones that ended up standing tall on this one. They have a big wave. This is going to be pretty tough. They're pinging for it. They're pinging for the end.
Right down the mid lane, here we go. Let's keep those timers in the back of our mind, because Angel, 40 seconds, has flash. He'll probably have the ulti as well.
Someone needs to unhand this minion wave. The only way that Suning could end up keeping their dream alive here, throw the cask, throw anything, get that minion wave out of here.
I mean, Jinoo's just going to go into the ulti straight away. If Suning are near this turret, they will die. Maple's trying to position around for the flank. This is the inhibitor definitely going down, but EDG are still going forward. Angel in 15 seconds, SwordArt as well. Maple in with the flank looking for Meiko, but they're running in. It's first Nexus turret in second. EDG don't care. They go for the Nexus. They make the decision and it sticks.
One team fight was all that mattered. And we were pretty damn close to it being the longest game. It's the second longest game.
There it is.
Now the 2 longest games in the LPL split belong to EDG in the exact same week.
A game that I was sure was going over to Suning, much like Top Esports Series, where I thought, well, Top are just going to take this now, but I guess you could say EDG are full of surprises.
Remember the last stat we threw at you guys at the very beginning, of the day before the set began?
I don't. Tell me, Russ.
Let me tell you, it was games in which EDG come back in.
Yeah.
Win rate if they're having a deficit at 15. And I think it was at 20%. They just don't come back.
Yeah.
But they've been coming back a lot. At least in this game was definitely a big comeback.
Well,
you feel bad if you're Suning here that had double Mountain Dragon and Infernal, they lost a few team fights towards trying to get a dive on iBoy. And while they had to play creative, you can see where the problems came in. And SMLZ couldn't find a good front-to-back team fight. Certainly Scout had enough AP to start getting some crucial Gragas cast ultimates down there, and also picking up the Leona ultimate, so they had an extra bit of engage comboed with the Cataclysm. EDG's team fight were just getting better and better.
Yeah, constantly. And I love how that final play, the pickoff, was from Jinoo and Jiejie, the two members that really let the side of EDG down. Heading towards that late game, they were like 1-8, 1-7. They were the ones that brought it to the conclusion.
We need another one. We need far more 50-minute games. Let's do it for the fans out there.
We don't have them much, do we?
Look,
we have very short
if you're in
games.
the Hangzhou venue and you just want to get your money's worth, let's say you're scrounging up cash, right? You're saying, please don't make this a 15 or 20-minute game affair. Just get me my money's worth. When you get that EDG game, oh, you're getting your money.
Make profit.
You're making profit. A cent a minute. That's what that was.
That's a great way to end the game. So who are you impressed with there? Who do you look at and go like, after that 50-minute affair, I can take away and say, they were the best performing member?
Meiko.
Good.
Meiko 100%.
Good.
I think it's a good back and forth between him and iBoy. iBoy certainly played fights incredibly well.
Answer, yep.
But there was another fight, like basically the brink of which Suning were going to be able to take a win. Around that first Baron buff mark and around all that setup that Suning had, he got like so many 2 and multi-man charms. And he was coming out unscathed too, which is very difficult to do with the new recon that a lot of the times is about timing, is about the setup. And he was able to find that window where he was able to get multiple setups for his team to take an easy fight. If it wasn't for that, I mean, Zai would be left praying. We already saw, even before that fight happened, Zai was like, all right, I'm just going to let you guys do your thing. I'm chunked out. I'm piecing out in this fight. You needed that recon to find yourself back in, and he was able to get multiple crucial ultimates.
And also props to Scout for actually getting back into that game
That's
as
true.
well, because there was an early portion where I thought, Scout is absolutely useless. We got past that point, and then suddenly it's like, well, it is still a Silas who had some pretty good solar flares taken away as well.
Yeah, late game Silas, I mean, at that point, the damage that's coupled with Ezreal, his Ezreal ultimates were better than the Ezreal's Ezreal ultimates.
That's right.
So that's fun. And then I think the Leona ultimate were key because suddenly you can start piling up all that pressure, and that there is far more ease of execution there for the team later on in that game.
It was a good game one to finish off at least.
Game 1.
There
we go.
That's right. Thank you so much, Radish.
No problem.
You should be a host or play-by-play sometime. We're going to have a small break. When we return, let's see what happens in EDG versus Suning.